Zoo, 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 zoo. What's up, pretty people? My name is Gypsy, and you're watching Broken Dolly TV. I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. For a long while now, you guys have been asking me to showcase like specific dolls in my collection to talk about and just give a little bit extra details about them. In my last upload of Sculpt Study episode number 11, where we talked about the Jacob/Taylor head mold of two of my dolls in my collection, I showed you guys one of them. His name is Guitar. He's my Taylor mold with a lot of customizations done to him, and I think a lot of you guys enjoyed hearing about his details. I got a lot of comments about him, so I was like, you know what, let me show you guys some of my other dolls that I've done similar things with. They're not like complete total repaints or anything, but I just did special customizations to them to really set them apart from the way that they like came. Probably, I think we're gonna do maybe like 3 dolls in this video, just real quick. So hopefully this will give you guys some inspiration to try things with your own dolls. You don't have to go overboard. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to be like some kind of expert when it comes to repaints or hairstylings. Just little simple small things that you can do to make that doll stand out and feel like a brand new character. So let's go look at the first one. All right, this is a doll I have never shown on my channel ever, and I've had her for a while. I want to say I've had her for at least 2 years. It might be even longer than that, I'm not sure, but she's pretty heavily customized. So originally this doll started off as Cho Chang, the character from the Harry Potter series. She actually wasn't my doll when I got her. I actually got her for my daughter. My daughter was obsessed with this video game, Little Nightmares, and her favorite character from that game was the little creepy girl named Six. So she was like begging me, Mom, please, can you make me a Six doll? Because she wanted to play with her. And so this was my attempt at customizing the doll. Initially, when I did this doll, she was on her original body, of course. She had longer hair, but I had to cut down the hair so that it was like a little bob, like the character from the game. And here her bangs are actually a little bit shorter than it was when I first made the doll. The character, she's got like super long bangs that cover her eyes, like you can't even see them. Here I trimmed it a little bit so you can see her eyes a little better, but initially it was like covering her eyes like all the way down over her eyes. I basically give her a new hairstyle. Cho Chang doll does not have bangs, so I had to give her bangs as well. Man, I'm telling you, talk about, you know, directional rooting. This hair wants to be tied up in a high ponytail, and it definitely is like rooted in that direction, so it's really tough trying to make it lay flat. To this day, after all these years, I haven't been able to get this hair to lay completely flat no matter what I do to it. I'm not sweating it because it was for my daughter. At the time, she was like in elementary school, so she wasn't being picky. With the face, what I did was, you can't really see what Six's face looks like because it's covered for the most part. So I tried to get like fan art that people drew of her and some other like renditions of the character from multiple sources to get an idea of what her face might look like under there. And this is just what I came up with. So I basically give her like bags under her eyes. I shaded in parts of her face and I got rid of the smile that was on her face. This sculpt has a smile embedded into it, so you can't like totally get rid of it. But I tried to make it less noticeable by erasing the lip paint that was enhancing the smile on the face. And she's very pale because she's supposed to be like dead or something. I don't know. It's a creepy video game. Everybody is like creepy looking. This doll is really, really pale, and that was part of the look. The earrings, I gave her that later on. This was not something that the character had, and I didn't have earrings on her at first. What had happened was, after I made the doll, I don't even know if my daughter played with her much or like she handled her at all because it was such a slow process. This hood that she's wearing, it's like a raincoat that I got from eBay. That was like the closest thing I could find to what the character is wearing in the game. You know, she got like a yellow raincoat on. And when she had the smaller original body, of course, it looked a lot better. It looked more like the character. But anyway, so I got this raincoat on eBay for like $5. And then the rest of her, like her body, I recently rebodied her. She's on one of these semi made to move type bodies. I asked my daughter if she still wanted the doll, if she was gonna play with her. And my daughter about to be 13, so she's like, I'm good. So once she rejected her, I decided to salvage her and add her to my collection. So that's why I ended up swapping her body out, turned her into an adult, I gave her the earrings, and I haven't had a chance to really like put her in any clothes really or do anything with her hair, because I think I want to like try to restyle her hair a little bit, make it a little more tame looking. This is how she ended up in my collections. I'm keeping her name. I'm just gonna call her 6 because it's just easier for me to identify this doll by keeping the name that my daughter gave to her. I'm just thinking of her like, you know, 6 grew up, she stopped being so melancholy, she escaped the weird maze dungeon place that she was trying to survive, I don't know, and found her way to my Dollyverse, and now she's safe. The next doll I have to show you is Nahani here. She was originally a Willa doll from one of these freaking movies or shows or whatever. I don't follow it, so I don't really know anything about that character, but she's supposed to be like a werewolf or something. Yeah, I actually fell in love with this doll because I first saw a version of her on Treese's account. I dolled it for you. If you guys follow her, you know who I'm talking about. Her mini-me doll is this doll, and she's gorgeous, and she did so much customizing to that doll to like really make her look like her. But I love me some Treese. I love Treese's face. I mean, her actual real face, the person. And I was just like, what is this doll? Like, I need this doll. So I asked her which doll it was. She told me which doll it was. I went to go look for her, and I happened to find 2. So I do have one that's still in box, and then I took this one out of the box to do my own customization for her. On my version, I'll show you some of the things I did. Nahani still has her original hair. I didn't mess with that. I did give her some like little baby hairs to frame her face. I did do quite a bit to her actual face because she had tons of makeup on, and as you can see, you can kind of tell like on the eyeshadow area. This doll, I think she originally does have pixely paint, but it's very hard to tell. Not enough so that it's like bothers me or distracts me, so I don't really pay much attention to that. I ended up just smothered her face in freckles. I added a mole up here, a mole down here, some blush to her cheeks, and that's pretty much everything. And then of course, totally swapped out her body, so she's on a made to move. The original body was articulated. It had like tattoos and stuff on it, but I didn't like the feet. It was those like oversized. Why does Mattel do this? They had the oversized feet that don't fit no Barbie shoes. Like I can't even get you into a Kirby size shoe. Just annoying. I don't even know why. Why do they do this? Just leave the feet alone. Like keep them the same size. It's not like y'all be making all these different sizes of shoes to accommodate different size feet. What is going on, Mattel? Ugh. Let me stop going on my Karen rant about freaking Mattel, because So that's what I did for her. She does have like painted nails. That's another little touch that I do with my dolls. If I get like really bored with them and I don't know what to add or change, a lot of times I'll paint their nails. That might be something you want to do to kind of reflect their personalities. You know, do they have rainbow colored nails? Do they have dark colors like black or gray or browns? You know, something neutral like white that's just gonna match with everything. Are they a purple girl? Match the purple hair, like whatever. I'll usually end up doing their nails, sometimes their toes, just to give them a little bit more personality. So that's Nahani. We're gonna look at another doll. With this one, I did very minor changes, but I did one major thing, which was to extract her teeth. So if you guys have not already seen my tutorial on how to take the teeth out of your dolls that have open smiles with teeth molded into the sculpt, then you might want to check that out. I've done that to quite a few of my dolls. Sometimes I forget that they even had teeth, and I have to like remind myself, but she's one of them. I named this doll Romy, and she is originally a Dea sculpt from the rainbow hair sparkle whatever. I don't even know what the hell she's called. We'll put it up on the screen. And she comes in 2 versions. There's this Dea sculpt and then there's a Millie sculpt. I don't have the Millie one. Didn't want her, won't be adding her, but I definitely wanted this one. She's on a made to move body right now. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but she does have painted nails and a bunch of rings that I added to her fingers. And the rings they look like they're 3D because they're just puffy paint. I simply used small amounts of puffy paint and just went over her fingers and let it dry, and so it looks like she's got a bunch of different rings on. And that way you don't have to poke holes in your doll, and you don't have to worry about using real metal to try to add the jewelry. And I did something similar to her face. I gave her eyebrow piercing and nose ring with puffy paint. All I do with the puffy paint, you guys, I take a tiny, teeny little small dab of it on the end of a toothpick. And then I just like go dot, dot, and that's it. That's all I do. And the dots will just get bigger and smaller depending on the size of the rings I'm trying to make. So if that kind of helps some of you guys who are wondering about the whole puffy paint thing, try it out for yourself. If you F it up, you can literally just scrape it right off and it's just gonna disappear. So you don't have to worry about making a lot of mistakes with the puffy paint on your dolls, which is why I like doing that. And I didn't change her hair in any way. I'm kind of wondering now what it would look like curly. It's just so long and pretty. This doll's hair reminds me of, what is that doll I used to have? I'm thinking of Glitter Hair Barbie from the 90s. She's actually the first Barbie doll that I ever owned. The length of her hair, how it comes down so far, like really reminds me of that doll. Glitter Hair Barbie's hair is much longer than this, y'all. But I mean, I almost feel like her hair is too long. So this is like a nice cutoff point down by her knees. And she has a bunch of colors underneath the black in the hair. As you can see, well, I love the combination of all of these pretty colors down here. It's like hiding under the black, so you can't really see the colors unless you tie the doll's hair up. And my favorite portion of the hair is the purple part, so that's why I kind of keep her hair like this so that I can see the purple. Purple is like one of my favorite colors. So that's Romy for you guys. So sometimes when I extract the teeth, I don't end up repainting the lips. I'll just glue the mouth shut and then leave the doll as is. Some dolls, if I don't like the paint job or if I want to change the color, then I do end up removing the original paint, redrawing on the lipstick. So that's what I ended up doing with her. So her lips are like painted back on by me. Did I take the teeth out of all of my Deas? I think I have her and like maybe one or two other Deas. This is my other Dea, Tambourine Jackson. And I did the same thing with her. I took out the teeth and I gave her new lips and restyled her hair. And she's got these like jewels on her face that I did with the puffy paint as well. I like them better with closed mouths, but that's just me. I just get distracted by the teeth when I see the wide grin sometimes. It just is like off-putting. All right, the last doll I want to show you guys is Marley here, who's originally a Gigi Hadid doll with Gigi Hadid's face as the sculpt. And with her, I didn't do that much. All I did was give her a new body. Her original body did have articulation, but she's on a curvy body right now. The main thing I did with her, I didn't change anything on her face because Gigi Hadid's face is absolutely perfect. I gave her a bunch of micro twists. I was trying to figure out like what doll I have that looks Caucasian that I could give braids to, because sometimes I like to braid up my doll's hair. All of the dolls that I have that have braids right now are dolls that like I would identify as black characters or like mixed black and white. That's like so hackneyed. We already know, everybody know, you know, a black girl with braids, it's just like duh. So I was like, let me see if I can do the same kind of hairstyle, but try to do it on a character that you normally wouldn't associate with braided hairstyles. And it turned out amazing. So I started from the back, of course. I always work my way from the way back of her hair to the front when I do braids. And these are probably the smallest braids I've ever done. They're not really braids because they're actually twists. So what I did was I took two holes of hair, if that makes sense, right? Two groups of hair from two different holes, and I combined them into a twist so that each twist was pretty much the same thickness because it's like parted for me by doing it that way, and more accurate than if I just grab a chunk of hair on my own. Now the hair around the perimeter of the head, you can't really do that with because they're so close together. There's not really any individual holes that you can really see. For that hair, I had to just like guesstimate, but for the rest of her head, I did make them pretty much the same amount of hair in each twist. Literally, all I did was just spiral twist the hair, you know, going around and around and around a strand, and then when I got to the bottom, I would just roll them in my fingers and let them go. And this texture of saran is really great, so it didn't unravel and it will just stay like this, and I don't have to worry about like trying to tie the ends up with some kind of elastic or manipulating it in any way. Another trick you can use too is to dip the bottom of the hair in really, really hot boiling water, and it'll just set the hair so that it doesn't unravel on you. But I didn't end up having to do that with her at all. And I love the way that it turned out. Her hair has a natural part in it where you see the hair splitting here. So I just followed that parting to twist the hair onto each side so that it laid a certain way. Y'all, like this doll, I do like this doll already, but I like her so much better with the braids. She looks so brand new. Like she looks like just a completely different type of character. Her personality is just coming out with the braids. Thicky little white girl right here. And I don't know if I want to keep her like a white person or if I want to give her some other type of ethnicity just yet. A Russian girl who grew up in a hood maybe. I really don't know what I want to do with her, but I'm like obsessed with this braided style. I feel like it's even more unique because it's twists instead of actual braids. I was just being lazy. Like I knew if I tried to braid this doll's hair in these small sizes, it was gonna take me forever. I was gonna start getting irritated, and I got OCD, okay? I was in hyper focus mode and my Aspie brain just can't handle it. I couldn't go to sleep until I finished her hair. So I was like literally laying in bed watching Netflix and trying to continue doing the hair until it was done because I needed to see what it was gonna look like. And this was my inspiration. Her hair are in teeny tiny little micro braids, but this is already pre-made by the company, rooted into her head like this. So I was trying to duplicate this size of braids. I think it turned out pretty cool. Now I'm kind of like looking around my doll stash to see who else I can do this with. I really want to go for a redheaded girl to try this out with. I kind of have my eye on a doll. I'm not sure if I'm gonna end up doing it on her. I gotta test out a strand just to see if it can handle the braids without unraveling. I have my eye on somebody, so when I do her hair, if I do her hair, then I'll show you guys her in an updated video. Oh, and I really want to try this out also on a doll with a very Asian look. I know I don't have a doll like that. An Asian girl with braids? What? Y'all, I know a real girl in my real life who's half Asian, half white, and she went to India and was like living there for a little while, and she was sending me pictures of herself while she was living in India. Bruh, never seen anything so beautiful in my life. Like she had these long extensions braided into her hair, and on her like Asiatic white featured face with the braids, like something about that look was just so exotic and pretty. I never seen anything like it in my life. I was in love. Like I was like, those pictures she sent me were like my screensavers on every device I had for like months. So pretty. And now I'm sitting here like, dang, I need to duplicate something like that with one of my dolls. I'm so excited to try it out and see how it turns out. But anyway, so I just want to share with you guys some of these customized dolls, just so that you guys can have an idea of like some things you can try out with your dolls if they're boring you, or if you just want to like bring your dolls to life in a new way. You don't have to do a bunch of extensive things in order to make your dolls a little bit different, you know? I hope you found some inspiration from this video. Let me know what you guys think. Is there anything that I showed you here that you might decide to try on your dolls? Or anything here that you've already done with your dolls? I'm sure a lot of you guys have already tried braids on your dolls, but like I said, how many of us are braiding like white dolls or Asian looking dolls, you know, or like the Hispanic looking dolls, or our guy dolls that have long hair? It's probably not something that you're thinking to do just off the rip. So hopefully this will give you some inspiration to try some things out. Try the puffy paint thing out. Experiment. You can probably draw on like jewelry on your dolls, on their fingers for rings, bracelets, even like a choker necklace. It's semi-permanent because it's stuck on the doll until you remove it, but you can like scrape it off and remove it at a later time if you want to. Just keep in mind that if your doll's skin is light, the paint could possibly stain the doll if you leave it on long term and then try to scrape it off later. So just keep that in mind. But it's a lot better of a solution than trying to poke holes in a doll and then possibly damaging the vinyl, or just, you know, some of us, we just lazy. That's a lot of work. If I pull out my puffy paints, I can do like 12 dolls in a row, just giving them all different kinds of piercings and jewelry right there on the spot. Even almost like a textured tattoo kind of a thing. That's not a real thing. I'm just making that up. But I've done that with some of my dolls and it looks so cool. Anyway, I'm just giving you guys some ideas. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm your girl Gypsy, and this is Broken Dolly TV. So now, have a dolly day.